Hello, my name is Max, and I have a problem. So, we've got doors in our house. You'd be surprised about that. I don't know. Maybe other people don't. My doors don't close. I mean, clearly it it's not. Look, it's just not working. So I gotta fix them today. I don't know what I'm doing, but I have an idea. Okay, hold on, let me show you. Okay, so here's the problem. This latch here is too low for the door. So if I close this door, you can see that it closes and it looks like it's about right. But if you look in here in this spot, you can kind of see there's a gap and it's just getting stuck up there on that part. And we've got another door that's also being a problem that I'm gonna also try to fix. So my bathroom door does close, but we put some weather stripping in between the door and the frame. If you use the restroom in here, it's really quite loud. So we wanted to try to seal the gap around the edge to make it a little more comfortable for people to listen to. But after we did that, this door doesn't seal nicely. When I try to turn the handle, it stops about here. And I have to like push it in order to get it to do that. And then if I just close it, you'll notice it just doesn't do it all the way unless I really push it in hard, and then you hear the click and it is locked in place now. So these are kind of similar issues, so I thought I would just do them both at the same time and we can work them out together. So first things first, let's get rid of this plate and we'll see what we need to do underneath. So, it looks like this was a bit of a hack job. Hi, Editor Max here. I just wanted to let you know that the whole debacle that you're about to witness could have been avoided if I had just used a wooden plug to fill the hole, some wood filler to kind of patch around it, and then drilled an entirely new latch hole. It would have looked a lot cleaner, it would have gone a lot more smoothly. Make of that what you will, but if you like watching train wrecks, I encourage you to continue watching. Thank you. Editor Max out. And what we need to do, we need to basically bring this up and just kind of cut off like maybe this much material up here. What I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to use a Dremel grinder to maybe try to get some of the stuff up higher, and then we'll see, I'll put in one of the screws again, put on some tape to hold it in place and see if that does it. So let's do that. Well, that started smoking very quickly. Yeah, that was like gonna catch on fire. Let me see, maybe there's a better tool for me to use. That's really scary. Hold on. That was mildly terrifying. Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I was able to spray it down with some water and I don't see any more smoke coming out of it, so I think we're fine. But that was not what I wanted to see. That was terrifying. So we're gonna try instead drilling out the little bits in here and seeing what we can do to kind of... Look, I never said I knew what I was doing, all right? I'm just trying to do. Okay, that just looks a little bit more gnarly. We're gonna use the Dremel again, but we're gonna use a different attachment for that. Obviously, I don't want to cause any more fires. Any more smoking, I should say. No smoking allowed. I've also now got my trusty spray bottle here of water and whatever else. If something does start smoking again, I can quickly spray it out. So we're just gonna make a quick line. Solid. Kind of feels like now it could stand to come forward a little bit. Let me just try making another adjustment here. Oops. This does happen sometimes where the little blade bits will just fly off. You know what? Because I made a good line there, maybe I can just get it out with a drill now. Again, I'm just using all the wrong tools in all the wrong ways, so I hope somebody's mad about this. I'm sure this is horrifying to watch, but don't worry, it's gonna turn out great. Ow! Perfect, so I'm able to bring that forward a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, that's better. That's way better. All right, cool. So now it's time to mount that guy in there and then clean it up so it looks way better. I kind of don't want to seal this guy in and do all that while it's still wet. But what I'm kind of thinking of doing is maybe putting some of those little like desiccant silica gel things in there. I do have a heat gun that I could try to apply to it, but I'd rather not do something like that. Obviously with the state that the wood's in. Yeah, we'll try the silica gel tablets first. We'll try that. I'll put it in there for a little bit and see if that helps at all. I don't know how long it'll take to help draw some of that out. We'll just stick you guys in here like that. Hopefully nothing else catches on fire. All that I want to do is bring this part forward a little bit, and it looks like there's already enough space in there to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and first remove this guy and we'll go from there. Now I think even just moving it that much, you see how the holes are normally here, and then I can like scooch this guy forward just a little bit and the holes are now like halfway covered. So I think having this just scooched forward a little bit is gonna help tremendously. I'm gonna do that painter's tape thing where I tape the top and bottom to hold it in place and see if that helps the door close any better. I just wanna make sure that there's not any other adjustments I have to make before getting started. That's perfect. There's no effort needed to really close it. It just goes right in. So since that worked perfectly, we're gonna go about filling these holes here that are left over from the old screws. So a friend of mine, Mark, if you're watching this, hello, recommended that a great way to fill in bored out holes is to take, you know, like what are essentially golf tees or little wooden dowels, drive them in with a hammer, use some wood glue to seal it all in place, and then you can drill new holes and you can work with it as though it's a solid piece of wood. I'm going to first drill the holes out a little bit larger so that they can just fit the whole so that it can fit the whole golf tee in there. And then I will mark where I'm gonna put in the new holes, drill those out, put the screws back in, and everything should work. Like I said, using a hammer. Perfect. We'll let those guys cure while I go and see if we can progress on the other one. These pellets, they still feel a little moist to me, and the wood in here is definitely still wet. So I'm just gonna shove in some of this toilet paper, if I'm being honest, and we'll see if it helps dry it out a little more quickly. Yeah, we'll just kind of leave that in there for now and we'll come back later. This little piece is sticking out and it's preventing the door jam slide tool thing from sitting flush against the back panel. So I'm just gonna try using my dreaded Dremel tool again to take it down a little bit. Cool, that worked great. It's still not drying quite as much as I would like it to, so I'm gonna put this big old fan here. While that's going, I'm just going to clean up the rest of the space. As I'm cleaning up, I am reflecting on my poor life choices that led to this situation. Now that this has had a chance to dry, we're just going to take this guy, put it up here, mark the holes where we're gonna be drilling out the new holes for the screws, and then we'll screw in the things. I'm just gonna line this guy up here like so, mark the very center of these holes. And again, you'll notice that they kind of overlap with where the other hole was, which is why it was so important that we fill in those holes. Now, when I'm trying to figure out what kind of drill bit I need to use to allow the screw to be able to grip the sides of the wall while also not splitting the wood, I'll hold the bit up against the screw and see if I can perceive the edges of the screw around the bit. Most kind of in-home screws are like 1/8 inch or even like slightly smaller. I'm gonna go down one just to make sure that I don't make the holes too big. So I was trying with the 1/8, but I think I'm gonna be better suited by going with the 7/64. We'll do that and we'll get started. You don't have to go crazy deep. These screws aren't super big. Be careful of over tightening the screws. You know, you can either tighten it by hand or with some drills you can actually adjust the strength that you're using. So this is like, you know, using it as a drill, but you can also go all the way down to like just a level 1 strength, basically lightly hand tightening it. Perfect. So that's nice and snug. Let's try closing the door. Nice. That just goes right in and I can open it without a problem. Let's see how the older brother here is doing. Yeah, that's looking a lot drier. You know, looking at it now too, this wood looks old. It's no wonder that it picked up like that and gave all the appearances of burning. So because this is so chewed up and the wood is so not great, I'm gonna start by trying to repair some of the work that's already been done here to try to like patch it up a little bit. Like what I did on the bathroom door, I'm going to fill those 2 holes. First by drilling them out and then putting the golf tee in there and gluing it all up. And then I'm gonna use some wood filler, which I have over there, so I don't have the thing. thing to then kind of patch up some of the holes in here and maybe fill in some of the gaps around the latch, and it'll help secure it and hold everything in place and just kind of make it work a little better. This is gonna need a lot of wood filler. It is. I'm gonna take this guy off of here because it is just, yeah, just look at how rotted out that is. That's pretty bad. Since this is where we want it, I'm just gonna mark down where kind of the lines are. Now, wood putty, wood filler, is, to my knowledge, basically just wood shavings and wood glue. You might notice that I'm only doing the golf tee on the bottom hole. The top hole actually isn't really a hole anymore. It's more of a channel because the bottom part of the wood just rotted and fell out. I'm just using this guy here to kind of smooth it out, make sure that we've got wood putty all the way. I keep saying wood putty. This wood filler, and just make sure that we've got this wood filler all the way in. And I'm just painting it in here. So unlike using my razor blade last time, I'm going to instead use these flush cutters. So I'm just gonna, and now with that gone, I need to trim down a little bit more on that. Yeah, I'm gonna need a little more wood filler in here. And I'm just really dumping in a lot. There are probably better ways to do this. Great. And now that that's in there, I can fill in this putty a little more aggressively. I keep saying putty. It's not putty. Jeez. Wood filler. That's what it's called. Wood filler. I'm gonna use this to put in more of this wood filler, really get it in there, really have it take up as much space as possible. So now that that's kind of in there, I'm just gonna take that longer screw and it's gonna go into the wood behind it. Whoa. And I'm gonna flatten that out. While we're waiting for this guy to dry, I'm just gonna give it a little test fit with the door, and we'll see how that goes. Perfect. You have to push it a little more than maybe you would want to, but it latches now, and that's better than it was doing before. So it's been a few days, and everything in here is dried up. And this wood filler is now really quite hard, and much easier to work with now that it's not a goop. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill in all of the little cracks, maybe not necessarily up top here where it's a nice sharp line, but certainly along the sides here and down here at the very bottom where it kind of tapers instead of forming a nice flat line. So I'm gonna refill in those cracks, make it look a little bit cleaner, and we'll let it dry again. The final step would be to sand everything down and paint it. However, I need to upload this video before I'm gonna get a chance to do that. So we'll get it as nice and clean and done as possible today, and we'll go from there. To flatten everything, I'm just using a putty knife that will allow me to get a really nice clean edge. And as it's drying here, it's firming up a little bit and allowing me to use my fingers to shape it a little better and give it a somewhat cleaner exterior. And that's that. Everything after this is really just cosmetic. The foundation is quite strong, it's quite functional. I think it looks good. I think it looks pretty great. Thank you all for joining me on this adventure as we dove into the world of door latches, a very small part of the world of doors. And I hope you'll join me again next time. Links in the description for things. If you like the music, they're all down there too. Leave a comment. Goodbye. Okay, so here's what so first I'm gonna, so it looks like since that worked perfectly, oops.